Just a quick aside. You know there's a turkey shortage going on right now.
I did not know that.
Yeah. You want to order your turkeys sooner rather than later.
Might be a gumbo Thanksgiving.
Oh, well,
Might just go to gumbo route. I know there's a crab season.
Oh, don't even start me. I'm pissed. Crab got delayed. Local crab season.
Local crabs got delayed.
Dungeness local crab.
Dungeness local crab.
What?
We always go after. Look, I always like, hey man, we're gonna get our crabs. We're gonna get our crabs from somewhere. The local crab probably won't get it. That's unfortunate.
It sucks.
It does suck. It does suck. All right, this segment is presented by Boxer & Curson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. Shout out to YouTube, Twitch, and the Xfinity mobile text line. Thanks for participating. Like us on YouTube. Oh, man, we are at 14.9 subscribers. We're about to get 15,000.
Well, and if you're on there, like it. Hit the like button. What are you doing?
15,000. Wow. All right, let's start this conversation with the Warriors. Let's take some calls and let the calls lead us into some Bob Myers sound, who joined Stein and Guru on the executive show. The executive show now moved from the morning roast to the midday show. Thank you very much, Stein and Guru. So they get Zaza Bob Myers this year, but they did a phenomenal job with Bob. I'm not going to lie. I was a little jealous.
Did you hear that the record was broken yesterday? I noticed it yesterday.
What was the record?
Well, the combination of the longest set of questions from Guru in the history of interviews.
I'm not going to go there.
Help me.
I'm not going to go there.
Larry King was impressed.
Whoa, I got to say. All right, since we're here.
I mean, I know you won the championship last year, Bob, and you drafted 2 players in the PBJ, and then it was just like this long run-on sentence. Can Jordan Poole get it back? I was like, why didn't you just go right to that?
I'm Malcolm X when I need to be.
Yeah, you
I
love him. I love him.
Let me say this. Since we're here.
I couldn't get out of the car. I was supposed to go to Target, and I sat in the car.
I sat in front of Patelco Bank for like 20 minutes because these guys were rolling with Bob Myers, and I'm like, damn, that was us last year. Damn it, Stein.
I was very jealous.
Very jealous. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Preface this by saying I love you too, Goo.
It was the Xfinity stretch moment of the day.
But let me say this. Friday, Guru was driving the show with Larry Krueger, and they had Monty Poole on.
When he drives, it's just so different.
It's the best.
I love it. I do.
It's the best. So I'm driving in the studio because it was an early game against the Pelicans, and they had Monty Poole on. And Guru went all around the world with Monty Poole for that first question, and finally asked him, is that a thing that Draymond and Jordan Poole, is this still a thing? Is that a reach? That's how he ended the question. It was like 2 minutes long. And Monty was like, yeah, I'd say that's a reach. So I saw Monty in the studio. I was like, man, that opening question from Guru. Monty just shook his head and started laughing. I'm like, only the Goo. But
he gets away with it because he's charming.
Yeah, he gets away with it.
But the highlights.
That's my favorite one.
All right.
I love the man.
Let's go to Jay.
I hope he watches the Willie Mays doc.
Yeah, he should.
Because I know he loves baseball so much, and I'm sure his dad was a Willie Mays fan, and is a Willie Mays fan, excuse me. And so I want to hear what he thinks about it.
Again, I couldn't fight him back. I was trying to fight him back, and I just let the tears out.
It was incredible.
I let the tears out, dude. It was... Damn, I'll miss it. Man, Willie Mays is so great. Jay in Houston, what's happening, Jay? Man? You're on the roast.
What's up, man? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Man, so, I mean, it's been a whirlwind of emotions today. I mean, started off very exciting, the passion Chassis was talking about with Willie Mays, what a pioneer he is. And then I just started to get depressed. And you know why I got depressed? I thought about the 22-23 Golden State Warriors, and at this point I have a moniker for them. It's called the Steph Save Us Warriors. That's all this team is. Just Steph Curry, can you save me? And I'm not one of those fans on Twitter. Warriors Twitter's going crazy right now. It's like Bob Myers and Joe Lacob. This is their fault because they're the best GM-owner partnership in the last 8 years. But my thing with them is, I think the 2-timeline plan, it was, insightful, and it's kind of like we've never seen something like that. But I'm at the point where I think we missed out on these draft picks, And with 2020, James Wiseman, there's just, I don't know. To me, best case, this guy is just Eddie Curry and, Brendan Wright. It's a combo of those 2 players. And then Kuminga, it's like we could have had Onyeka Okongwu or Franz Wagner. And you can't tell me those guys would not get 25 to 30 minutes on this team. Like, even Wagner, he's such a good player. And then, hold on, I got one more point. With those 2 players, it's just like, you can't tell me it's a miss when our second overall draft picks, getting DNPs behind two-way Anthony Lamb, who I didn't even know existed until this year. And Onyeka Okongwu on the Hawks, statistically, he's the best defender on Giannis.
I respect that, Jay, but I didn't hear anything about Okongwu from a lot of people before that 2020 draft. It was mostly Anthony Edwards, Wiseman, a little bit of Halliburton. I know people talked about Halliburton. I give people that. But nobody, to me, I didn't hear anything about Okongwu in terms of the Warriors selecting him. We knew about Okongwu, but I wasn't – there was not – I don't recall there being a lot of noise for Okongwu coming to the Golden State Warriors.
Okay.
From the fan base, at least.
I was listening to Steiny yesterday, and he brought up a couple of really, really, really good points that I was chewing on by myself as I was cleaning the house yesterday. And one of them was this. Let's go back in time. And I know it's tough because today we're armed with their champions.
Right.
And we need these guys to take quantum leaps and whatever. Let's go back in time. When you have an opportunity to select number 2 overall, okay? When you have that opportunity, you were thinking to yourself one of two things. Number one, I'm not sure how much longer this core has at the top. Number 2, I'm not sure how many times they're going to be in a position to draft someone with extremely high upside this high in the draft, right? So you say those two things. We all knew, for the most part, they were going to take somebody who had extremely high upside, but was probably a project, right? Now, we can all say, Wiseman is a very raw project, right?
Look at all these guys that were projects. So I'll let you finish your point, but I have the draft pulled up here. Patrick Williams got drafted by Chicago. We thought he was a project, and was there a fit with the Golden State Warriors? Isaac Okoro out of Auburn.
Who I actually wanted.
I like Isaac Okoro. He's a good defender, but you weren't probably going to take him at number 2.
No. He was more of a guy in like the 6, 7, 8 range.
Obi Toppin, during the college basketball season, was top 3, and then it faded, right? It faded
I thought he was
bit.
flat-footed, and I didn't see the fit.
Jalen Smith, who went to Phoenix out of Maryland, he hasn't played much. Denny Advia with the Washington Wizards hasn't done much. So Okongwu was interesting, but another project, right? And so to Steiny's point, I'm with them on that. We talked a lot about Wiseman. We said, and a lot of people are saying, you know what? You take Wiseman. We talked about it a lot where everybody's like, this guy could be Chris Webber / KG / whatever. Now, it looks laughable now, but the young man's only 21 years old. I'm not here to call him a bust
We'll
yet.
see. I mean, right now, they haven't got any return on that, on that investment on a high upside guy, right? Like that's okay. Now let's get to the Kuminga draft pick, the Kuminga and Moody the following year. Okay, we were all hoping that Jalen Suggs would fall to them because we didn't know Jordan Poole would take this big quantum leap forward, right? They took Kuminga, and I still think that's the right pick. I'm with Kuminga.
Well, Kuminga was projected to be a top 5 pick in February.
Yes,
he was at some mocks he was number 1 overall.
But Bonte, I think his style of play can translate maybe quicker than Wiseman because of some of the ball skills. When he was drafted, he was 18 years old, played minimal high school basketball, and played in the G League. And was the second or third best player on that team. Wasn't even the best player. Jalen Green was. Right? So you're talking about a guy who's, if not more raw than Wiseman, certainly as raw as Wiseman. So again, 2 high upside guys. Moody, a little farther along. He was 19 with 1 year at Arkansas.
1 year. And here's the thing about Wiseman. I want to go back to that for a second because he picked up a DNP Monday night against the Sacramento Kings, didn't play. What we saw his rookie year, a lot of people say, well, we saw it his rookie year. Well, 11.5 points per game and 6 rebounds, and I get it. He didn't know where to be. We're talking about guys who play at a championship level. It's Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, them two, because they're on that roster. Then Andrew Wiggins, we know, had the talent. But you throw James Wiseman into the starting lineup right away to play with a championship tandem in Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. And it's like, go figure it out, kid. Now, he plays his first 2 games against Brooklyn and Milwaukee. This young man staring at Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and Giannis Antetokounmpo in his first 2 games. And I thought he was getting better his rookie year. He got the COVID right after the All-Star break. Remember Steve Kerr benched him. We played the fourth quarter against the Clippers, scored 14, and then we saw him get hurt. And it was like, damn, he was starting to put together some double-doubles. He was starting to figure it out a little bit. And then you get the injuries. And this is where we're going to be at with Trey Lance next year. We just don't know about Trey Lance because he's not playing. 6 starts since the calendar flipped to 2020. And so for James Wiseman, that setback of getting hurt, having your rookie year cut short, playing only 39 games, and then you're rehabbing, setback, rehabbing after just 3 college games, I think you got to really look at that and put it into context. So that upside that we're all looking at saying, look, this is a project, but we thought he'd be farther along. Injuries derailed everything. Screwed up the plan.
No, it's very poignant, and we don't know what he is right now. Right now, the returns have been horrible. Like let's just call it what it is. Here's the other nuance that I heard a guy, Tim in Richmond, call in. I think about this stuff all day. So when I hear someone come up with a nuance that I hadn't even considered, I find it fascinating. He was talking about, it's a little unfair from some of these veterans, Steph, Draymond, and Clem, and he used them as an example. And I'm not just pinning it on them, but they'll be like, come on, these guys got to get up to speed. Think about every one of their early maturation processes in the NBA. They were playing on a horrible team.
I know.
Horrible team. They were afforded luxuries to come in and play extended minutes, and guys were moved out of the way so that they can get opportunities. Now, Draymond's a little different because he had to wait till year 3 for the David Lee injury.
And he was a second-round pick.
Exactly. But like Clay and Steph specifically, they could play through mistakes.
Right.
And they were given opportunities. And you moved Monte to give him more freedom and to give him opportunities to fail and succeed. And the stakes weren't as high. You know what I'm saying? For these guys playing.
No, it wasn't.
Right? Now, I'm looking at what's going on for Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody right now, and I get it. The championship stakes and all this. Everybody needs to take a deep breath. Right? Us included. And shame on me for thinking that they should be farther along. But they're projects.
But you know what, though? As you are listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMG, FM, and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app, your favorite 95.7 The Game, for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And don't forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel while you are there. The thing with Wiseman, number 2 overall, because there was a LaMelo Ball talk, and there's still LaMelo Ball talk.
That's going to be there for the rest of his career.
My thing with LaMelo Ball, maybe he does figure it out with the Golden State Warriors. But what happens with Jordan Poole? Maybe you move off from Jordan Poole, right? There's all these little variables that I think people don't think about.
Yes.
LaMelo Ball loves the ball in his heads. Kind of plays like Seth. Look, he's a flashy player. He can pass with the best of them. No doubt about that.
They can use his defense.
But LaMelo Ball does not play defense at all.
I think he's a better defender than JP. Just my particular opinion.
Maybe, but it's not marginally better.
He is not locking anyone up. Right. I agree with that. But I'm saying
size
his
to
defense.
to maybe offset some of his deficiencies on the defensive end.
Yes.
But what does it look like? What does it look like? You know what I'm saying? Do you win that championship last year with LaMelo Ball leading the way? Maybe, maybe not. I have no idea. But you know what? Teams miss picks all the time. And the Warriors missing a pick possibly on James Wiseman, it's going to suck in the short term, but that's why Bob Myers are going to play some sound in a second. The Warriors know in the back of their head, look, we got to plan that. If it doesn't work out, we will be ready to pivot.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Do you remember when they lost all those games down the stretch on purpose to get in position to draft Harrison Barnes?
Yep.
Okay. Now, Harrison's okay. Did they nail that pick?
No, absolutely not.
And it showed promise at times.
It showed promise, but they moved off of him.
Right? And I think even the biggest Harrison Barnes fan as a Warrior fan who's also a Harrison Barnes fan would admit he left a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Like, I expected more.
Harrison Barnes was a disappointment.
And I don't think that's fair. Like, I'm not trying to crush him, but I like Harrison.
Sacramento King fans are saying right now, he needs to be out of the starting lineup.
Right, but and he's had a pretty fruitful career if you look at the financials.
But it's been okay.
No, but I'm saying financially.
Financially, it's been great.
It's been very fruitful. But like, you're looking at a guy, and he's going to have 15-year NBA career. I mean, if he just plays his cards right. You know what I mean? Not a malcontent. And so I look at this, and I'm like, man, he had 20 points as a 20-year-old in a playoff game that he was allowed to play like 40 minutes. Right. And we were like, sky's the limit for him. And even then, with all of these opportunities and this team ascending, he still it's hard is what I'm getting
It's hard to hit the picks. So, in a way, it was a bonus for the Warriors to have those 2 draft picks. But here's how I look at it. If Wiseman's a bust, Kuminga doesn't fit the system, you can move off these guys and get something to help the championship core now.
They're still assets in a sense.
They're still assets. And
I don't like talking about people like that.
No, I don't. But, we know.
Yeah, but I don't like to phrase it that way because then it makes people feel like the property.
One important thing Bob Myers said with Steiny and Guru, we consider ourselves contenders.
Yes.
And so my whole theory is finish in the top 6. They'll figure it out. Finish in the top 6 because here's the thing that people are not realizing once you get into a playoff series. If you do make the playoffs, and I think the Warriors are going to make the playoffs. I'm not pivoting 11 games into the season. I'm not going to do that. You have a championship core, and in the playoffs, your rotations shrink. And as you get going in this series, first of all, there's no back-to-backs in the playoff series. So you don't have to worry about it. So now you can play Steph Curry 40 minutes in a playoff game. You have no back-to-backs. You get days off, whether it's 1 or 2. And then you start to figure out tendencies of the other team.
Yeah.
You start the game plan.
Yeah.
Bob Myers talked about that at MIT this past summer, where he's like, look, if there's a guy in the regular season, he may light it up. But in the playoffs, the scouting reports are so in-depth.
Yeah.
And you get to play against that team at least, at a maximum of 7 times, you're going to be able to figure them out and learn tendencies.
TJ Warren. I mean, he had a monster couple of games, and then where's he been since?
Right. So that's why when
this is an example.
Yeah, that's a perfect example in the bubble. So that's why in a playoff series, I will worry less about Klay Thompson and Jordan Poole defensively because they're going to be able to figure some things out in the half court. It's a slower game. It's a slower brand of basketball. The foot speed, their foot speed might not be there. The lateral movement might not be there for Klay Thompson, but I think his IQ will be able to figure things out in a series. But it's about getting to that series. And right now, we got to figure out who can help them off this bench. And right now, the 3 youngsters are not helping them.
No.
If Wiseman's going to pick up DNPs and you're going to be open to send them into the G League, well, I got a feeling that, you know what, James Wiseman just may not fit, and you may have to move off of him, and that hurts to say.
Well, that's the reality. But I would also say that, when you lose GP2, when you lose Otto, when you lose Belly, the guys that I thought would be more of not a like-for-like replacement, but the guys that I thought would be more of I thought JaMychal Green would be better.
Yeah.
I thought Dante DiVincenzo would be better. So simultaneously, I thought the youngsters would be able to give you a little more. Okay,
no doubt.
And meeting in the middle. If it was like a Venn diagram, I would meet in the middle.
We all had those hopes.
Right now, the JaMychal Green signing looks very bad.
It looks bad.
All right, and we could harp on draft picks. I still believe in their futures more than I believe in JaMychal Green standing on this team. Dante DiVincenzo, too. He needs to be healthy and he needs to play better. All right? And so when I look at why is Lamb and why are Ty Jerome playing? Well, they're both 25, played multiple years in college, are a little more seasoned, have accepted their NBA landscape reality. If I'm not a glue guy, if I'm not doing all the dirty things, I will not sustain in this league. These other guys are like, I just want to prove that I belong.
Right. And the thing is, you cannot overlook the fact that Wiseman has not played much basketball.
No.
And that is killing him right now.
No.
And you know what?
It is killing him.
He may turn out not to be a good pro.
But Kuminga too, B.
Kuminga too hasn't played
and
much.
Moody too. I think Moody
matters.
They all need to play.
Bob Myers said it yesterday. You have to play to get better.
I know.
I ask Willie and Festus and Darrell all the time, can you get better by watching? Darrell's like, the best thing that happened to me in my career with the Miami Heat was going down to the then D League. Yeah. I needed to play to get better.
Such a great change. I'm so glad they changed the name.
The G League sounds so much better.
The G League, the D League sounded so bad. Look,